Hello. This is the second part in a series of videos that I'd like to do about the Next Gen Fitness Pro. Uh, Again, my name is Emil Giroux, aka Mr. Fat Loss, and the creator of the Physique and Figure Training Specialist. Now, my course and my journey didn't necessarily start as Mr. Fat Loss, and it didn't become a thought as far as course creation and just the development of a fitness professional career. It really started back as a young guy, just really very tiny and very insecure about everything basically. But I had gotten myself in a lot of situations as a young guy. Did the typical intramural sports, wrestling, track and field, football, very tiny in football. And I couldn't find the best fit. I eventually, after going through some challenges, joined the military. And when I joined the military at 20, there was a standard boot camp. I started out as the RCPO, which is in charge of the company, all I think maybe 125 pounds, 130 pounds of me. And I was in charge of 100 guys. And my main job then was to, organize and run the company through the PT, all of the things that we did going through boot camp in Orlando, Florida. Fast forward, get out of boot camp, get assigned to an LHA carrier group. I find my way en route to Beirut at 20. And along with the attachment on my ship were, Marine Recon. There had been special helicopter squadrons, fighter squadrons, fighter jets, Marine amphibious units, and also the SEAL team. And I saw these guys working out in the gym one day and decided that that was what I thought I needed to do. And one of the members of the team that was assigned to our ship, a guy by the name of Guma Tao Tao, I talk about it in the Physique and Figure Training Specialist course, he took me under his wing and kind of encouraged me because I wasn't the biggest guy, but I had like this little bit of a chip or an attitude. Most of us fitness pros, personal trainers, bunch of alphas that we are. It helped me to see something that he saw, and I was able to get myself in really good shape. Meanwhile, went to pilot rescue school, and I eventually got orders cut to go to BUDS, class 133 as a candidate. It was a major milestone, but what it did for me was help me understand the ability that we all have. And unless you have someone that helps you to see sometimes what you don't see, you can sometimes give up on yourself. Fast forward through that period in my life, I had to take those skills and figure out what I was going to do as a civilian. And one particular year in port, 1988, I went to Long Beach City College and started studying anatomy and physiology. And then in addition, I went to night school at UCLA, and they had a certification for fitness professionals there at that time. And we're talking 1988. I think one of the governing certifications at that time, I also took that cert and got myself qualified based on, a friend of mine that I saw in the gym that day, a natural bodybuilder. And this guy was just like huge. He was, and I just marveled at, what he could do. I was fit. I was already military fit, but I wasn't looking like that guy. And, I'd be in the mirror, like everybody doing selfies right now, trying to hit my ab shot. And it eventually led me into developing my first training business. It was called Body Lines. And I think it was 1988, 89 when I was in port. So I would do a little personal training. I would work out in this gym. The gym owner hired me. And at that time it was about $25 a session. We split it, $12.50 for me, $12.50 for this guy. I built up a base. Now, I will say that would probably be the first step for some of you are certified, some of you are way beyond this conversation. So this isn't necessarily for you, but for the junior and the young trainer, you're fresh out of high school, you might've been a jock in school. These are some of the things that I would help you understand that you need to do now, and not worry about trying to figure out every little step. I know the decision to be perfect and to sometimes procrastinate a bit to, stop yourself from doing the best thing that you can, which is to get certified. And then I would say one of my biggest learning experiences was upon the certification, also make sure that your credit is good. Make sure that you have a business structure in place. And there are courses here at NESTA, and I just saw a post today about the process of just getting all of your documentation squared away so that you can open up a business account and then establish lines of credit and then start using that money to build your business. If there was one thing I would talk to my younger self about, I would have done that sooner than I ended up doing it, because it does give you a little bit of financial cushion to weather the storm, kind of like this one right now. And although it's beyond the scope of this video, that's the number one thing. So, getting your baseline certification in place and then working on, I think, using the certification that you have. I find that a lot of times trainers will reach out and ask questions, and some that even get my Physique and Figure Training Specialist course, they'll get the course, but they'll sit on it, or they won't implement it, or they'll buy, various things on the net and not really properly apply them the way they're designed, because you're reading the book and you interpret it and you implement it the way you see fit, which is great, which I totally understand because I'm that guy too. And so, you get yourself certified, you start building your base. There is a faster way to do it now than the way most people do it. I had the luck and fortune of being in relatively good shape, in fact, bodybuilding shape, to get that kind of attention. And you'll see now that kind of condition, the big guy with the big bench, maybe not really well versed in understanding his diet, isn't necessarily going to catch the eyeballs as the guy over there or the gal that's in really good shape and has a certain soma type, a certain shape, which I talk about in the Physique and Figure Training Specialist course. How to identify the ideal shape, how to get your basic diet in place so that you can achieve a look with a knowledge base that helps you, command a certain niche group. So, I zeroed in on that competitive market very early on. And my bigger recommendation, if you're not fit, not hyper fit, but relatively fit, like somewhere in the 10% body fat range, or possibly lower as a male, and females somewhere between 15 and 12%, that's a good place to be, because your shape looks really, really good at that point with minimal effort. You want to talk about saving money on marketing? You want to talk about saving money on SEO and website building and all of this other stuff that is now like being pushed on everybody as the only way. The simplest grassroots way is to make sure that your number one client, you are in ideal shape. Nothing needs to be said. You're in the gym, they see you, they see what you have going on, they want to look like you. Some guys want to look like Kai Green, some guys want to look like Mike O'Hearn, some guys want to look like Dorian or Lee Haney or Frank Zane or whatever. Get an image, find an image of the person that you want so that you can begin to emulate that particular physique in your training program and diet. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in parts of my journey and why I took some of the steps that I did. And, it's not throw tons of money at it and not getting another certification and getting 15 or 20 certifications and not using them. You want to get started. Get one, use that. And the other step beyond building the credit and so on and so forth, I'm going to talk about in the next video, some of the courses that I found really helpful in my journey, and then some of what I did hunting and searching for mentors so that I could put it together. You have all of the tools right here at NESTA, but it's a matter of implementing the tools accurately in your journey. My name is Mr. Fat Loss, Emile Giroux, creator of the Physique and Figure Training Specialist. Go on down to the next video and I'll talk a little bit more about the journey and then some of the next steps that you might want to take.